Hey, what's up, Brian? This is a quick demo video for you for your Vader's Vault Doom. This was a conversion. It had the factory install in it, which was a CFX, but you wanted a Proffie V3, so that's what we've got. When I took this apart, made my chassis, got it wired and put it back in, I noticed there were some things happening with the PCBs. So there's a PCB that goes right under this control box, and then there's one that matches on the chassis. To get to your chassis, you just want to unscrew your pommel. Okay, so we'll unscrew the pommel, take that off. It is a little bit tight, but it goes on. You'll see your chassis right there. Pull it straight out. Okay, and so this PCB is what I'm talking about right here. We can zoom in on it a little bit. So you've got that PCB, and it's got those 6 prongs on it. There's a matching female PCB right on the bottom of this control box. I was getting some errors with the red and green arrows. They weren't lighting up correctly, and it sounds like you had had that issue before. So rather than try to go in there and fix what was in there, which I did try to a little bit, but some things had been jumped with wires. I wasn't sure what was going on. I reached out to Sam over at Shadowfoil Props. I sent him the original ones, and I asked him if he could make me 2 new ones, and he did. And he did it pretty quickly for me, so I appreciate you, Sam. But when he ordered them for me, he sent me a bunch of extras. So I'm going to put these in your box. You can just have them if you ever need them. I will never need them because they are specific to this saber. All right, so we got these in today, actually, and I had been waiting on them patiently. So got them in today. I got right to work, so I swapped them both. So they're both brand new PCBs, the one under the control box, and of course this one right here. Had to break out my hot air station that I haven't used in a long time, and hot air solder these 2 sets of 3-prong PCBs on here, but everything is good. All right, when you look at the chassis, you've got a 7-pin connector right here that makes contact with the blade side PCB in your emitter that we'll talk about here in a second. I put the kill switch right behind your Proffie board, so right here. Okay, your Proffie board is glued down to the shelf, but if you look right here, you've got access to your SD card and your micro USB, everything from right there. All right, and you've got a removable battery set up with the spring side being your negative side of your battery. I put your Vader's Vault battery back in the case. I put it in your box. In fact, it's right here. So I'll send this with your saber. I do suggest taking the sticker off of this before you use it because I made the chassis pretty tight. All right, so I'm going to use my test battery, and it doesn't have a sticker on it. We bumped up the size of the speaker a little bit, so I think you had a 20 millimeter in there before. Now you have a 22 millimeter Smuggler's Outpost Nano Elite speaker. There's just one sound font on here for now, which is mine. There's a copy of the config file on the SD card though. All right, so let's put a battery in here. There's a strip on these batteries. You may see it on camera, you may not. It's right there. It's right underneath the wrap. It's easy to see in person. I make that go right to the side of the chassis, but not inside of it. So you see that strip is running along right there, right along the top of the chassis. All right, it says Solo Sabers over here for me, and then it says Blind Knight over here in Arabic. All right, come over here and flip our power or our kill switch. When you put this in, it'll be the same deal as before. You know, you're going to want to line up these 4 or these 6 prongs with your control box. So we'll go in straight. I've got these little greeblies here on the chassis as well. You make a straight line right in the middle of those greeblies to your control box. You should be fine. All right, so take your time putting it in. It is a tight fit, but it goes and it pushes all the way. Now when we got it all the way, you can see your red and green LEDs going. That's one side, and of course you've got that on both sides. All right, we'll go ahead and put our pommel on. When you put the pommel on, it is tight, but just take your time, it'll go right on. And with time, taking this in and out, that will get a little bit better. This is kind of like a fresh install. All right, but when we get that locked in, same front for power, back for auxiliary. So power right here. When the Saber's on, I made your green light stay on, and I made your red light pulse. All right, and then auxiliary is back here. You got twist off. This does still come off, so you can take this, you can unscrew it. I'm trying not to drop it. You can take this off and pop this off. You had asked if I could put a lit PCB in here, and I could not. I couldn't get this Suba off. You had mentioned that it came loose on you one time and you put some Loctite on it. I hand cranked on it as hard as I dared, and I could not get that off. So I did retain the original blade side PCB that you have in here. All right, so we're going to put this back in, lock this down, screw this on. Tighten that all the way up. We can hit power again. I wanted to show you that your blade plug still works, right? You got a Neopixel blade plug in there, so we'll take that out real quick. That, of course, has, you know, some Neopixels in it, so it will light up because you have a custom Saber Shop 7-pin connector in there, or so. Yeah, it's 7 pins. All right. This Saber is meant for a 7/8 inch blade. So we'll put our blade in here and lock it down. Come over here and hit power. You should notice a pretty significant sound difference in this speaker that you've got now. Good flash on clash. Blaster bolts is just tapping auxiliary. Our blade lockup is holding auxiliary down and hitting the Saber. You can see it right here. And as you go like this, it moves closer to the emitter. It's right here now. We'll play our soundtrack by doing a long press on the power. All right, and do another long press to turn it off. Just like that. All right, so we'll break this back down. Take the blade out of here. I'll put the blade plug back in so I don't forget it. Lock it down on the pins. Again, come over here and take the pommel off. Pop that right out. Remember, pull your chassis straight out. Don't twist it. All right. You can see the green indicator light on that Proffie V3. You can see it lit up right there until we come over here and we flip our kill switch and it kills power. All right. When taking this battery out, do it from the positive side, which is over by your board. Pop it out with your finger just like that. But that is basically your Doom conversion. Thank you for your patience in getting this done. This took a lot longer than I would normally take to do an install because I had to reach out for help on getting some new PCBs made, and then I had to wait for those to be made from Osh Park and then get to me. All right, so I will try my best to get this out in the mail to you by tomorrow. Thanks, Brian.